which is, what is it that's being lost? So image quality not changed at all? Or is it changed in a way that perhaps you wouldn't notice, but does make a material difference to data traffic?
Yeah, what we're doing is we're putting the user control, because at the moment the operator may compress your images for you without you knowing it. We're letting you control that level of compression. So using our control panel, you can select the image quality you require. As you can see there, we've got it on the low medium setting, and the image quality is still pretty reasonable there. You can go lower than that to save more data if you require as well.
And then second quick question for me. What's your revenue model going forward? Do you need to pay for this app, or do you pay according to data saved? Or?
Initially, we'll be launching on the basis. Can you hear me? Initially, we'll be launching on the basis of a free service, but in a couple of months' time, we'll be adding some features. And on the consumer side, it will be a subscription-based model, which we think will pay for itself based on extending people's data plans. And on the other side, we'll be targeting virtual network operators and mobile network operators. On the virtual network side, they buy their data wholesale from mobile network operators, and we can actually reduce their variable cost based on giving out data squasher on a license fee.
Ed, what do you think?
Is it an app, or it's HTML5?
In terms of the user, they will see it as an app, but essentially the app is a control panel, and that control panel directs all the web traffic through our compression servers.
You know, it's interesting. I at first thought, and it was a great presentation, I thought, is it too much work for consumers to do, like for the normal run-of-the-mill consumer, who doesn't think about some of the minutia on their phone? Is it too much work, or is it a little confusing for them? And I don't know, have you done any consumer insight work, or that consumers will do this, or they're interested in doing it?
Yeah, I mean, we're in private beta at the moment, so we're still working through the feedback, but in terms of how easy it is to use, you install the app, register, and it runs in the background. You don't need to bother about the app if you don't want to. The default settings will save you around about 60-70% of your total data without you having to configure it.
Thank you.
And Dan, John.
So this feels like a classic great technical solution, big problem, but do I really care? Yeah? And how many people really, really have this problem? Okay. Especially in a world where our friends to the right-hand side have had enough influence that we're now having decent data roaming packages across Europe, which is now collapsing in a big heap. It feels more like a mobile side operator problem rather than a consumer problem.
Well, I think the problem has a number of aspects to it. In terms of the infrastructure costs on mobile networks, I mean, some of those costs are crippling for some of the businesses. Vodafone O2, I think last week announced that they would have to share their 4G network, and I think that was an infrastructure cost saving. On the consumer side, if you're travelling, data roaming charges are very expensive, and it's around this time of year we start to see the bill shock headlines appearing. I've got a number of friends, chief accountants, CFOs in businesses who want this product in their business, so they can get two things. They can get a handle on the data expense across individuals and across departments, but also they can start putting pressure on some of the costs that they're experiencing as their sales force travel internationally and rack up their charges.
So would it be better as an enterprise, play initially? Well, I just don't. I'm not sure consumers are going to do this.
I don't think they care. Well, and the problem you have is if you've got an £8,000 bill, you've just saved it £4,000. It's still a bloody big bill.
Well, I think if you've got the data reporting, then you can actually track where you are in terms of your data allowance and translate that. If you've got an awareness, if it's, say, £3 a megabyte, you realise that actually, hey, I've just gone on this website and I've just spent £20 or €30. What I would also say is that our start point is on the consumer side. But we're going to do something we've done with another product of ours, Mail Suite, where we create an IT control panel where the IT department can actually control policy across its sales force. So switch off video, for instance, when the sales guys are travelling around Europe or the US. Those aspects to it. The virtual network operators, that's a cutthroat business out there. So giving those guys something which actually reduce their data costs, I think, is relevant. For us, we see the consumer side as a start point, a way of actually publicising the service. But we think the big hitters here are the enterprise side and the virtual network operators. On the mobile network operators, the conversations we've had recently, we're actually getting more interest in the developing nations where infrastructure costs and actually getting market penetration out is relevant. But given our relative size, we have to start somewhere, and we're starting on the consumer side. With the right funding, I think we need to shift to the enterprise side and then onto the virtual mobile network operators. I think that's where the big prize is.
Do you guys, if you guys are a proxy essentially, do you want to talk just briefly about the privacy and security issues both for business and personal? Bear in mind we only have 45 seconds.
Okay, well, the basis of the security is carried over from another company of mine called Mail. We've been handling people's messages now for 7 years, so we've processed hundreds of millions of messages, so we've got all the security nice and locked down. Security is really key for us, so we do look after people's privacy.
Okay. Any other final thoughts with 30 seconds to go? No?
What kind of sort of consumer response have you had so far? I know it's early days for you, but you said that people can go to your website and have a look. Are people doing that? How many devices is this on as we stand?
Yeah, early days for us. Private beta at the moment. We expect to launch first on Apple in the next couple of weeks. But private beta response has been a range from the corporate animal to, being blunt, a group of people down the hairdressers that I go to. And the feedback that we've got is really good in terms of usability and in terms of data saving capability.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, that was Millenoki. Thank you.